going to take a look at Mr. Karpov's game with Andras Adorjan. This was played in Lucerne, Switzerland in 1989 in the World Team Championships. Anatoly, this has always been one of my favorite games, and I always thought this was extremely instructive.
Yeah, that's right. Positional play, and we could see with our demonstration how white developed the advantage, and from very small advantage could achieve victory. I played this with white and black even till now.
Yeah, he plays this very popular finesse bishop check, bishop d2 to make your queen interfere with the advance of your d-pawn, and then he withdraws the bishop back to e7.
All right, bishop.
You continue your development.
g2, c6.
Now c6, of course, prepares for black to play d5.
Yes, bishop c3. Then d5, knight e5, castle. No, castle first. Castle, castle. Knight f to d7.
Now, one quick point here is the other knight can't come to d7 because the c6 pawn is under attack. So he exchanges off your active knight.
Yes,
you play knight takes knight. He plays knight takes knight. And now your c4 pawn is under attack, so it's necessary to defend that.
Knight d2, rook c8.
And now you played e4.
e4. Possibilities here. Black could play c5, take on knight f6, but b5.
At the time, this was the most popular according to theory.
Yes, and even now people are playing this move, b5.
Now you simply played rook e1, maintaining the tension in the center, and this offers to sacrifice the pawn.
Yes, now black has two possibilities: to take pawn on c4 twice, or what Adorjan had chosen, d takes e4.
Okay. Now, pawn takes, and pawn takes. This is many games that you've had, and we'll discuss that at another time. Adorjan plays pawn takes, and you take with the bishop on e4.
Yes. Now b takes c4, b takes c4.
And then he played a new move at the time. He played knight to b6.
Yes, trying to force white to push a pawn, and then black has solid structure in the center, a little bit tight, but solid structure in the center, and then knight on d5 is very well centered, let's say.
But
c5.
Nonetheless, you go ahead and obligate him, and this not only gives up the square, it looks like it opens up for this bishop, and it looks like it puts your own bishop a little bit in the box.
That's right, but now the main idea is to play against both bishops. So you see, this white color bishop has a lot of perspective, and black color bishop also. It will be on f6, but then I must protect pawn on d4, and I bring my knight to e5, and then I have pressure over c6 pawn. And so this is a main positional idea, just to make pressure on c6 pawn and develop initiative on the king side, and just to keep control in the center.
So this is really one of those key moments in chess where you have to realize that the long-term benefits outweigh what looks like the short-term disadvantages.
Yeah, that's right. But let's continue.
So he played knight to d5. Now you played queen to c2, protecting this bishop and lining up the queen and bishop battery against this pawn.
Yeah, the point is that I'm not afraid to give up this bishop for the knight, because my knight will come to e5, and the black color bishop has no perspective. Later on, I will force black to exchange bishop for the knight because of weakness on c6 pawn, and then we have white color bishop on e4 against bishop on a6 or b7 or b5. Then white has clear positional advantage, and big one. So of course black is not ready to exchange knight for a bishop.
He simply protected the pawn.
Yes.
Now you continued with your plan of bringing your knight to e5. He countered by bringing his bishop to help protect some squares on the dark squares.
Yes, now another moment probably which we need to explain. Instead of bishop f6, black could play knight to f6. And of course, if we exchange with bishop d3, pawn on c5 is hanging. After bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, bishop takes c5. But then white was going to play knight to e5. Knight takes bishop. Queen takes bishop. Then threat is to take this pawn. And if black would play queen to d5, then white takes on d5, pawn c takes on d5, and then rook b1. And so this is clear advantage for white in opposite color bishops, or this position of black pawns on the king side is not so good because...
Plus you have the big pawn.
Yes, because my 4 pawns control 5 pawns of black, and I have passed pawn on c5. So Adorjan didn't want such passive position, and he preferred another possibility. Then we play knight to e5, I believe.
Now he played queen c7.
Queen c7.
And here you expand on the king side with h4.
That's right.
This keeps the idea open of playing h5 to start softening up the battery here.
Yes, because I have pieces just to attack on the king side.
So he centralizes the rook with
Rook
rook at
f to d8.
Now you bring this bishop back.
Black had threat to take on c3. This is small tactical threat, but we can explain this. Rook takes d4, and then queen takes d4, and then bishop takes e5, and you see queen and rook on the same diagonal as a bishop.
And he's netted a pawn.
Yes. So that's why this is the moment to retreat bishop from c3 to d2. It's not possible to take twice on e5. Bishop takes e5, pawn takes e5, queen takes e5, because then we just take the bishop on g6.
So now he retreated the bishop, and you simply continue centralizing with rook at a to d1. Now in annotating, you gave this an exclamation point. Why is this move so important?
So this is very important because d4 pawn is only one weakness from one side, white side, and this is very important to defend it, just not to give any tempos for black.
Mm-hmm. So it's important to defend it in advance so that you're free to do other things.
Yes, because rook was out of play, and I didn't want to put rook on b1 because I don't want to exchange rooks. I have better rooks, and I have space, so I need to keep rooks on the board, and this is the most useful move at the position.
Okay, so after this, he decides to relocate the knight and start to try to pressure the pawn that you're talking about on d4. He plays knight e7. And now here you played queen c3, exclamation point. And in your notes, you talk about the possibility of playing queen a3 to create problems over here for him.
Another idea that I could not play bishop b4 immediately because then black queen has this square, queen a5. I didn't want to allow black pieces to go out of the box. So they should be on the 7th and the 8th rank. So that's why queen c3.
Mm-hmm. And you're just keeping his queen off so that your bishop can go to harass him in a more serious manner.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So he plays bishop to b5 to protect the c6 pawn. And now you play bishop to c2. And the idea here, I guess, is simply to play a4 and to send the bishop away.
Yes, I just wanted to keep this opportunity, a4, and because black wanted to move queen to b7 and queen to a6, just to have control over a white diagonal and to secure a4 for the bishop. But bishop c2 is quite accurate.
So now he plays knight f5 to attack your d4 pawn. And here you play bishop f4, and we see the advantage of having put the rook on d1 so that your pawn is already defended. So
yes, otherwise I would have to give up my bishop for the knight.
Mm-hmm. So after bishop f4, now he feels some obligation to move his queen, so he plays queen to a6. And now you go ahead and kick the bishop. The bishop only has one square. And now this bishop, having served the function of supporting that pawn, now goes back very nicely and starts to put pressure on this pawn. So he has severe problems here.
We have domination. Look, I have two bishops in the center. I have knight in the center. And black has bishop on a6, bishop on g7, queen is on b7, and so there is no square on b file. And anytime I want, I can play rook d1 to b1, just kick out queen from b file.
Okay, so he decided to play queen back, just kind of in anticipation. But of course, this move does not make a happy impression.
No, but what to do? Because if black would play knight to e7, for instance, then I was threatening queen a5.
And now the bishop
and then
on
rook
a6.
b1, and then bishop on a6 is in trouble. So that's why he had to play with the queen, just to prepare retreat of the bishop.
So now that he's busy on that side, you go ahead and strike out on the other side of the board.
h5, this is very unpleasant. Now if black takes on h5, so this was...
Like this.
Yeah, just having in mind to play h4.
Would you take this immediately?
Yes, of course, I take this.
And then when he takes here, these pawns don't make a happy impression.
Yes, then I have possibility to play queen f3 immediately, or queen c2, just attacking f5
or
pawn.
queen c2.
And for instance, if black takes this knight, then I can take with the rook. Of course, you can say that that both kings are exposed, and both kings have weaknesses. But we have active bishop on f4, which is in attack over black king, and black bishop is on a6, which is far away.
If you just draw a line down the middle of the board, you can see he doesn't have any pieces on this side of the board.
Yeah, that's right.
So now after h5, he tried to mix things up a little by playing g5.
g5, black has hope to
play pawn up and fork your pieces.
Yes.
But nonetheless, you go ahead and fall in with his plans and play bishop takes pawn.
Then f6.
And now here you played a very nice in-between type of move.
Yes. h6. And then what to do? Black bishop cannot go to f8 because of this pawn. Just to go to h8. So then you can see that black king is in big danger, and so the easiest way just to play g4, and when knight goes to e7, then queen c2, and black cannot protect pawn on h7.
So now if he takes, say for example, if he takes this one,
yeah,
then you play bishop takes pawn check. He only has one square for the king, which is here. And then you can play something like knight to g6 check.
Knight g6 check.
He takes this, but the problem with this is it allows your queen to come into the game and threaten queen here check.
Yes.
And also rook takes here is coming. And so basically his king would be pretty much in the box here.
Now then for instance, bishop c4, defending this pawn, we can play simply bishop g8 is one possibility, or rook e3.
And now rook f3 check, and the king.
Or another rook comes to e1, and then we just take on e6.
But here rook f3 check to f7 check looks like it's going to be the end.
No, I mean if king f8 to e7, then we just take here immediately, or we play rook e1 and then we win.
And continue attacking.
Yes, easily.
So in the game, after h6, he played knight takes on h6. Now you took here. He took with the bishop. So now you've managed to avoid having to retreat and losing time. And but now, normally one would expect you just to move the knight away since it's attacked.
Yes, but we have very important move in between here. Queen c3 to b3.
Okay, here it seems you're zeroing in on the sensitive weak pawn.
Yes, and so if black takes knight on e5, then it's easy. Queen takes e6 check.
King
only
g7
move
to
king
protect
g7,
the bishop.
Queen e7 check, and then we take pawn on h7 and bishop on h6.
King back, queen takes h7 check, and so forth.
That's why after queen b3, Knight on e5. The only move is rook e8.
And so now you go ahead and retreat the knight and counterattack the bishop.
Yes, and bishop cannot go to g7 now because of bishop f5.
So this shows the power of the pin here. And he has no more way. The pawn is attacked 3 times and only defended once.
Yes, that's why king g7 is...
In the game, he played king g7, protecting the pawn, protecting the bishop. But nonetheless, now it's very straightforward for you. You simply took here.
Right.
He must recapture, otherwise he's playing without a piece. And now, your bishop is already attacking this point, and you simply played king up, threatening to swing the rook over to the file and come in.
Yes, that's right. And so, I must say, doesn't matter what black can do here. For instance, king g7, then rook h1, and if black would play... No, if h6, then queen comes to e3 probably.
And immediately things
Or
happen.
even immediately rook takes h6, king takes h6, rook h1 check, rook h7 check, and queen f3 and mate on the 7th.
And so you were going to show that if f5, probably you would just continue sacrificing.
Yes, bishop takes f5, pawn takes f5, rook takes h7 check, king takes h7, queen f7 check, king h6, and then rook h1 check. Or queen g7 mate immediately, yes.
Yes, yes.
So this is, and you can look, white has queen and rook, black has queen, 2 rooks and bishop, but all the pieces are out of position of king, and they cannot...
they don't help.
Yes, they can't help.
In the game, Adorjan played
f5.
f5 to try and fend off the tidal wave.
Yes, but then we have another possibility. Bishop takes f5, pawn takes f5, and now it was possible, I believe, also to play rook h1 check, king g6 is better, then rook h6 check, king takes h6, and then queen f7, but why? We
Why
can
bother?
play queen f7.
You can just play here for
immediately.
free.
Yes, for free, and then this is the end of the game.
And after this, he simply resigned because rook check and the king hunt is on.
Yes, nobody can help.
And not very long.